Fortnite's OG mode is bringing back a lot of good memories for long-time players, but it's not quite perfect yet. Because while it's really cool to revisit the vibe of Chapter 1, there are definitely some ways it could be improved. Things like tweaking the movement to feel more like it used to, making sure all the weapons have the OG models and sounds, and maybe even getting rid of turbo building could make the mode way more enjoyable. What's going on, guys? It's Dark Cloud, and since OG mode has been with us for just over a month now, I thought it would be a good idea to dive into what could Fortnite have done to make the OG mode better. If you enjoy this video, please make sure to drop a like and smash that subscribe button, as it would be very much appreciated, and let's get into it. First of all, let's talk about the movement. The way you moved in Chapter 1 was so simple and straightforward, and that's what made it so special. There wasn't any sprinting, sliding or mantling like there is now, and even with this new Chapter 6 movement, how you can boost and you can climb and wall scramble and everything, it made it a lot more complicated than it was before. While these newer features are cool in regular Fortnite, they feel a bit out of place in the OG mode. If the mode's meant to feel like the old days, it should go all in and ditch the newer movement options. Back in Chapter 1, walking and jumping was pretty much the only thing you could do, and the slower pace made the game feel more tactical. You had to think about where you were going and you would plan ahead. Getting rid of sprinting and sliding would bring back that chill vibe from Chapter 1, and it would make it fairer for everyone. Reverting back to the simpler animations of the movement would make it feel the most like Chapter 1, because that's the bread and butter of Chapter 1. Another way Epic could fix the OG mode is the weapons and their models and sounds. The Chapter 1's loot pool was iconic, and in OG mode some of the weapons feel right but others don't. Because while the pump has its own OG model, and the scar has its own model and it has its OG sound, and the loot has its OG glow when you pick it up and the OG sound of when you pick it up, other items don't have that same OG feeling. For example, with the bolt action sniper, the blue version has its OG look with that OG model, but for some reason the purple and legendary variants have their Chapter 2 look and model, and for some reason it just feels like Epic has made it seem incomplete and it doesn't fully mirror the OG experience. Now, this next thing that Epic could do to improve OG Fortnite is something that I've seen a lot of people talk about before the OG mode came out, and that's whether Epic should have removed turbo building for the mode or not. Back in Chapter 1 Season 3, when turbo building was first introduced, it changed everything when it came to Fortnite gameplay. Although it started out as something more simple and people would simply build bases and use it as an advantage to gain high ground over their enemies, it slowly evolved over the chapters and people started using it more aggressively for fast editing and piece control and triple edits. Without turbo building, it would accurately mirror the Season 1 meta, and players would have to be more deliberate about how they build. And ultimately, this would also close the gap between casual players and sweaty pros, making it a lot more approachable for everyone. Plus, it would also bring back those intense slower build battles where every move counted. One final point I want to make is something that I don't see Epic ever doing, but the user interface that was original in Chapter 1, when it was a lot more simple, was one of the best user interfaces we've had, completely because of its simplicity. Personally, I found it a lot more easy to navigate the OG locker because it was just generally easier. And another thing is, back then, skins actually had rarities. It was really uncalled for Epic to completely remove rarities from skins, and it just doesn't really make sense. And it was a lot better back then when the items had rarities. Although this isn't very related to the OG mode specifically, I just wanted to give my opinion out there about the OG locker UI. But to be honest, I don't think there's much Epic could do, because I don't think it would be very efficient to make one UI for the OG mode and keep it separate from chapter 6, because that would be very complicated. But other than that, what are you guys' thoughts? Is there anything you would have preferred for Epic to change about the OG Fortnite mode, or do you think it's perfect how they made it? That's about all I've got to say on this topic. If you enjoyed, please make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.